we're in the sort of first stage of this game where, if anything, it's going to be the pain in EM is going to reverberate back to the US. We're already looking at the longer leading indicators. You can see the slowdown in the US. You know, you look at things like the flattening yield curve. That's one of the best longer leading indicators. You can look at money growth. Money growth has generally been declining. That's also a very good longer leading indicator. So the US kind of slowdown is kind of baked in the cake next year, and that would be exacerbated by any slowdown in EM. You know, when it comes to which one to buy first, you know, it's probably going to be the US. The US is the one that you're most likely to want to buy after you're seeing that first move. The EM, you probably need to see a capitulation event of some description. You know, going back to our sort of template, what we're looking for in broad emerging markets is you need to see capitulations in money growth, you need to see capitulations in excess liquidity. And it's at that point then you tend to get the reaction and the recovery. But, you know, we're nowhere near that point yet. So the overall picture is, you know, we focus on our indicators that global growth is peaking. And when you see a peak in global growth, that tends to mean that the US outperforms. In that situation, you get the dollar outperforming, and that feeds into pain in emerging markets, especially the weakest emerging markets, the emerging markets that have the most inverted of balance sheets, that are highly reliant on capital inflows. And that situation should probably persist towards the end of the year. The dynamics that we're looking at don't suggest any great change in, say, the dollar's fortunes or in that global growth rotation. The beginnings of next year, our longer leading indicators such as the yield curve and money growth are beginning to point to the very beginnings of a slowdown in the US, or at least a peak in growth there. And I think when markets have to try and capture that in their sort of forward-looking window, that's when we could begin to see things begin to rotate again and the dollar beginning to reverse. And at that point, if there's been a capitulation in emerging markets, there may be some great opportunities to buy.